All right.
Hey, how's it
W-
going, Nick?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're back, dude. This is episode 3.
All right, episode three.
I'm feeling good. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up here. Captain America is about to drop in about a week, a little over a week.
Captain
And
America is this Friday, dude.
is it? I thought it was the
Yeah.
22nd.
No,
I don't even
Mandy
know.
and I are going to see it on Thursday night. So,
Okay, okay, cool,
oh,
cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I'll go see it next week then too. Um and then we
second, if
had
it's good, I'll see a second time with you over the weekend.
there we go. There we go. Little bro date.
Valentine's.
Um, and then I mean the only good thing that we got saw that dropped was the new Thunderbolts trailer,
Yeah.
which it was a good trailer. Got a whole bunch of new bits and pieces there. It in my opinion, I mean, it made my outlook of what I thought the movie was going to be a bit better.
Mm,
But you can never tell with, trailer. A trailer's a trailer. They pay millions of dollars to make a trailer, fucking awesome. So,
mm.
what'd you think?
I thought it was interesting. I didn't think it was that cool at first watch. I had to honestly watch it a second time to kind of get more into it. Kind of what I picked up was the lack of Bob in the second trailer. So
Hmm.
if you notice in the first trailer, they did all their names, introduced them all, and then had this like mysterious, goofy kind of comic relief Bob character, who's
Hmm.
obviously Sentry, we all know, but they're playing kind of coy. And in this trailer, they didn't even mention, but they did again the lineup. They did all the names, but they didn't mention Bob or Sentry. They did show him, silhouette style floating up above the city. Maybe watching the Void come in. I don't know. That was my probably my biggest takeaway from the trailer was what is that like darkness coming into the city? Um, I think it's the Void, the alter ego, or I'm not
Right.
super familiar with Sentry to be totally
So,
honest. So,
yeah.
um,
So, I mean, I've known about the Sentry character. It's just I didn't know too much about the Void kind of alter ego. From when I looked into it, it's basically the Void entity, which it's like an entity, is like using the Century headspace kind of. So it is like an alter ego, and like it's I guess possessing Century and can like when you hear him at one point in the trailer, I think he was talking to Bucky when he like rips off his arm, you can hear his voice kind of change a little bit, and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like the void, kind of
All right.
overtaking him a little bit. But yeah, it's they're supposed to be one and the same person, but they are like, in from in the comics, they are like two different entities except for they're one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I from the, videos over the last year or so, everybody's been speculating and whatnot. So I picked up a little bit of pieces of what you're saying. I think, yeah, it's like Sentry has to keep Noel or the Void. I get Noel and the Void confused
Hmm.
also, which I think Marvel has to watch out for. Like, well, I won't get in the whole thing. Um, like Sentry has to keep things nullified. He's like addicted to like I want to say heroin or something in the comics. Did you read about that?
I did not. No, no, man.
Yeah.
I do know that
He's
like
like a
he.
heroin
Do,
addict, and then like they hook him up to the super serum, and then he becomes Sentry somehow, but he has to like keep the void or the null, whatever. The void, yeah.
yeah, the void,
Yeah.
like
So
in check. Yeah, with
yeah, keep it
was
in
that way?
check. Keep
Is that
order.
why he was a heroin addict?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do know though it looked like he was kind of like drugged up like from the trailers and
Yeah,
like
you look kind of gnarly.
and that's why it's just like, I can see why, like what you're saying makes sense. Like, hey, they had to keep them drugged up. Otherwise, it's like other entities gonna like, pop up and like take over. And I guess it's like probably what's gonna be like the premise of the movie. They go, I don't know why, or I'm assuming like Val sends them there, and it's just like, why does she do it though? I mean, what's the whole premise as to why she even wants to, uh break out or wake up like Sentry? Like,
Yeah.
is it to like possibly use this void, or that's probably going to be the big question as to
Mhm.
what's the whole reasoning behind that. Um, but one of the things that what I just didn't know, and which I kind of saw what other people have been talking about, is just like, hey, is this void gonna, like, if you go into this darkness, is this taking you to like some other, like, void dimension or something like that?
Oh,
And they were trying to say that like they think that it might possibly be like where how it's going to like connect like the upcoming uh, Doom, Avengers Doom, and then the
yeah,
Secret
Doomsday,
Wars,
Secret
where he
War.
makes like the Battle World or something like that. And because it's
Yeah,
going to have to do with, the Fantastic Four, or from another universe, and somehow like, like whatever connects them to, this, how they're going to be able to get to the Battle World. And it's like, um,
I
the
could.
Thunderbolts, they could possibly be getting to the battle world through this void, type of a deal. I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was a kind of, I never even thought of it like that, but I thought that was interesting. Instead of it just being like, oh yeah, like his little power that turns him into shadows or darkness, like
Yeah.
it's just killing people. That's not really killing people. It's like sending them somewhere else. I thought that was a good take on it, and I thought that would be a good way to tie everything together. Um,
It would be cool that it's kind of like Thor. Just hearing you say that, it sounds a little bit reminiscent of Gore in Thor: Love and Thunder.
yeah,
You know how
yeah.
he kind of took the kids into the shadows and stuff.
Yep.
They could
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
play on that
exactly.
a little bit.
So, as far as what you saw in the trailer, I mean, like, I don't know about you, but like, okay, Red Guardian. I mean, I like David Harborough. I like the Red Guardian character. I mean, like I said before, I mean, if they throw too much comedy into this, it might sink the movie. But I do like the level of comedic relief that the character Red Guardian brings to the table. I mean, like the Black Widow movie. I like that Black Widow
I thought it
movie.
was good.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
It was a few years
Um,
late, I think, is the biggest problem with it.
yeah. I mean, what I like though, I mean, is the introduction of the Red Guardian character into just the Marvel universe, and uh, just you know, you have these characters like Thor and all this stuff that like try to like lay out this like comedic relief, and it just doesn't land. I think that David Harbour's character as Red Guardian, it does land,
Yeah.
and that's the level that I do like. I mean, I don't like when it's just like kind of dire straits, and like they're absolutely screwed, and then somebody like throws a stupid pun out there, and it's just like, come on, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No, I think David Harbour's character, Red Guardian's going to play a big part of that comedic relief throughout the
mhm,
movie, to be totally honest. But I do think he is going to get it towards the end. I think maybe second act, maybe early third act, something like that. He bites it. That's kind of the big gut punch,
mhm.
later on in the movie, that kind of either maybe brings the team together again or something like that. Um, and yeah, that reminds me too of the other thing that I really took away from the new trailer was the lack of Taskmaster. There was Ghost. Yeah, I get the two mixed up. They look very similar with their masks, their new mask and everything. I think she dies. Ghost or Taskmaster dies early first act. I think that's one
Yeah.
of the like Suicide Squad style kills early on, and then later on the Red Guardian is the more gut punch. So that's
Yeah,
kind
no,
of was
I,
my biggest takeaway was like the lack of Bob and the lack of Taskmaster. I thought that was weird.
yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on this. I mean, yeah, I definitely think that Taskmaster, in this iteration is her. I think she's going to bite the dust in the storming of wherever the Sentry is, that compound. I think you are right with the Red Guardian meeting his end, but I think he's going to go out like saving the team or doing something heroic. I mean, and you can just kind of tell. I mean, he's the older character, he's the father figure. He's also the one, like if you look at, in the trailer. he gives that like speech where he's talking to his kind of almost adopted daughter
Yeah.
Yelena, and he's
She
like,
viewed him as the as her father, so
yeah, and he's like, I don't see you at, I don't see when I see you, I don't see your mistakes, and that's something like, that brought her to tears, and it's just like, okay, yeah, this guy, he's gonna do something heroic, and he's gonna save the team, like, do one of those, um, you know, kind of fatherly
yeah.
sacrifices, and
Mhm.
save everybody type thing. But and that's what I think is if they do that, I'd be okay with it. Um, but yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, anything else on the Thunderbolts trailer?
Yeah, I mean, the what I kind of saw was when I looked at John Walker's shield. It's not the same shield he had in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Hmm.
It's I want to say like if you look at it, you can kind of see remnants of a Captain America, you know, shield on there. So what I want to think is that it's probably maybe like because they didn't, his shield from Endgame is still there. I mean, it didn't get destroyed or anything. It's just, it got, broken into a whole bunch of pieces. I want to think that, it was recovered
Hmm.
reconstituted in some way. It just looks like shit right now. Shit in
Yeah,
the
I
movie.
had not heard of this. I'm looking at a couple photos now. That looks, pieced together. It looks different, so
I want to
interesting.
say that that's his shield, but like it's just not as strong maybe because you do see that it's all bent at one point, which I think is probably just the interaction he has with like the Sentry or something like that, which makes
So
sense.
this movie comes after Brave New World, which is going to introduce adamantium to the
hmm
universe. I wonder if this new shield's made of adamantium. That's
Well,
part of the new look of it.
I mean, if they're actually being true to what adamantium is, you couldn't bend that though, because that's the whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
with the adamantium. You can't like break or bend it once it's been
Septith
cooled.
vibranium
What's
was
that?
vibranium. Isn't that what from what's from Wakanda? Wakanda.
Vibranium. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
vibranium could go up against it, but yeah.
hmm hmm but other than that, though, I mean, as far as kind of what I think this is gonna be about, um, I think it's going to be cool. It's just like I said, though, in the last episode, if they show a trailer and it's got like some like classic rock soundtrack going along with it,
Yeah,
it's
right.
usually bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
This did have that, right?
Yeah, they did have a song, but it wasn't like, like a Zeppelin or an AC/DC type thing or something like that. It was a good song, so I don't know on this one. I want to say, usually that prediction is pretty true and it holds some water, but on this one because the song it was more of like an 80s kind of classic, wasn't really like a classic rock one. I
Yeah,
want to still say it's going to be good. I don't know.
I have to look up what the song was because I can't think of it right now. Trailer song. Um, Nothing's gonna stop us now. That's the song. Nothing's
Hmm
gonna stop us by Starship.
hmm
Yeah, that song I thought it was appropriate, just wording and everything. But um, yeah, I do think there's some validity to your theory. So
And the the only other thing I kind of want to see out of this movie, like I said before, I want to see kind of a arc for John Walker. I mean, you do see in the
yeah,
trailer, he's got a kid, and he's kind of looking down at himself, and like the this article on his phone is just about how he sucks. Like, I mean, it looks like the guy is trying, and I want to
yeah,
see, I want to see this dude, you know. I want to see him have a full circle here
Right.
and, just be a badass. I mean, because again, he may have fallen in, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a total douche, but I can see his character coming back on this.
Yeah. I could see it being a redemption arc, that being a big, theme of the Thunderbolts movie. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's going to be more century focused. The other thing, other big thing that we haven't talked about is the asterisk of it all, which
Hmm.
I don't want to put too much weight on. I think it's a gimmick, and I
I do
don't
too.
think it's going to like completely change the title.
I mean, it
Did
makes
you
no
hear?
difference really. I mean, it's not gonna like whether it changes the title and they call themselves the Dark Avengers at the end of
It's
it. I
not going to
mean,
be the Dark Avengers. I'm positive of that. Because the more I've looked into that, like the Dark Avengers in the comics were like evil, like villains that were
okay,
like pretending to be the Avengers and
yeah.
posing as that, and they never like called themselves the Avengers. They just became known as that because they were like posing as them.
Hmm.
I think so. What I was going to bring up too is, did you see the poster? I think it was released in Japan or Korea,
Hmm.
possibly. Um, so it was a big poster or a poster with a big asterisk, and each of the characters are lined up around each of the six prongs of the asterisk. And then in Japanese is the title or whichever language I forget, but at the bottom is the title, and then below that in English is the asterisk, and it says Avengers not available. So a lot of people are thinking that is the solution to the asterisk. I don't think I think that was a marketing like I think I do think that is uh, a clear telltale sign of what they're going to do with the Avengers, which is why I have the opinion that I don't think it's going to completely rename itself as a movie. I think it is
Hmm.
going to be more of a footnote, but I think it's going to be like an ongoing joke. Like, we're
Yeah,
the Thunderbolts, but we're the Avengers, but they might even at one point in the movie call themselves the Dark Avengers, but then
yeah,
go back to the Thunderbolts and then
yeah.
like call themselves, the East Coast Avengers and then go back to the Thunderbolts. So it's going to be that ongoing joke. And then the asterisk, what that meaning is going to be, well, actually, I have two theories. Let me finish this thought. So, this theory, the asterisk, is just going to be a versatile thing that they can do and have fun with for marketing purposes. My other theory is that in that trailer, when the team of Thunderbolts is walking towards the void, that dark shadow in the city, what if that's in the first act? In the second part of the movie is like
Hmm.
completely off the walls bonkers. Maybe they walk into that shadow area and it is
Yeah.
battle world. They skip forward in time. All of the events of Doomsday and Secret Wars are already going down. And that's what the second half of the movie is.
Dude, that would be cool because again, it's like this is what I mean, this is what I was saying before, how it's like they shouldn't have come out with these movie titles beforehand, like telling us there's going to be Secret War, or telling us there's going to be Doomsday, because now we can kind of see how these movies might end.
All right.
Because I do think we're right on this. I think that like the Thunderbolts somehow at the end of the movie, or what you're talking about, maybe at the beginning of the movie here or mid movie, whatever, it's going to be they go through that void and all of a sudden they're on Battle World. Doomsday is going to be like the whatever remaining Avengers are around, like Hulk and
Yeah, the core
whoever.
world. Mhm.
Yeah, they're gonna have their movie, and then they're at the end of that, they're gonna be end up on Battle World. Fantastic Four, it's gonna be the same thing, where it's like, oh, hey, at the end of that, all of a sudden they're on Battle World.
And do you remember what I texted you over the weekend about Fantastic Four? I got to jump into that theory real quick.
Go ahead.
So, I had an epiphany, an awakening over the weekend when I was watching the Fantastic Four trailer for like the 50th time. What the epiphany was is that Reed Richards of this era from we know that's taking Fantastic Four First Steps is taking place in an alternate universe. It's this kind of like retro futuristic worlds in the 60s maybe, but
Yeah.
also in the future sort of thing. What does that look like? Where have we seen that aesthetic before? The
Uh,
TVA, Loki.
Okay. Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah.
TVA is going to be established in First Steps. I am convinced that is what First Steps, the subtitle that they added to the end of that movie, is going to be about. It makes sense. The TVA is of that Fantastic Four world.
Hmm.
That world ends, but somehow Reed encapsulates them in this like alternate, this outside of time entity,
Dimension,
the
right?
dimension, if you will, pocket world, if you will, and that is then built in, maybe once Kang comes in and starts conquering things, that's when it becomes the actual TVA that we met in Loki. But I
Hmm.
think Fantastic Four is going to be heavy into the TVA.
Do you
That's
think
my
they're go
theory.
do you think they're gonna touch on because that's what I heard. They somehow like Doom's going to either kill or take the power from, God Loki, who's now like in charge of all like the sacred or the whatever that tree is.
Hmm.
Um, do you
This
think they're
could,
going to touch on, him in the Fantastic Four? I mean, it could,
yes, I do now, because all of this isn't, like just what I said. It's kind of the 60s, but it's not. It's all time is flat. It's a flat circle. So like if you look at it like a compact disc, like a flat disc,
right?
you can jump around anytime. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that Fantastic Four world is eaten by Galactus per se, if somebody, maybe those four are able to jump outside that, they bring Doom with them, and Doom is the one who, creates that uh out of space, out the Citadel at the end of time, where He Who
Hmm.
Remains ends up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. I think that could even be the tower, Fantastic Four Tower, the Citadel.
I can
I'm
see
taking
that.
it too far now. I'll stop. I need a drink.
I like it. I like it. So yeah, I think that the uh Thunderbolts kind of trailer did make me feel better about it. I mean, but again, it's just a trailer.
Yeah.
Captain America's coming out in a week, and then we're gonna be waiting for some more Fantastic Four to drop here. As far as other things that are non-Marvel, I know that both of us have been watching Severance,
Yeah.
and I
Severance is
have
awesome.
I
Season two is
I
awesome.
I started it last week and I watched it all in a week. Uh, it's a fantastic show. I will give you that, and it is um, one thing that here's my theory as to what they're doing. The MDR department is when they're going and they're refining those numbers, and it's all emotion based, like, oh, these numbers are
Mhm.
scary or these numbers are happy. What I think they're doing is they're refining code for the chips, and they're somehow making the chips better because I think like the ultimate goal of Lumen is to basically basically like world domination or something like that, where they're trying to make these chips better and then they're going to put them in people, but they're taking away like emotion and stuff like that. That's why these numbers show emotion. Okay, so let me take that and put that
Yeah.
here. Oh, this is happy here. So they kind of want people like robots almost,
See
type
that?
deal. That's kind of my theory as to what they're doing with the chips or with the numbers. Um, I haven't figured out the goat thing yet. I don't know what that's about. And my theory with Irving, which he's like, I can't say rest in peace because he's not dead. I
Right.
mean,
And just for people watching, we're at the end of episode 3, right, of season 2.
four, season
After
two,
season,
episode 4.
yeah, season 2, episode 4. So the kind of bottle episode where they're on a retreat on a mountain with the world's largest waterfall, which was hilarious. I thought that was like one of the best parts. Just like, what the hell?
And they
Uh,
don't, I mean, they believe him because they don't know anything.
yeah,
Yeah, sure, right?
yeah, they're little babies. Yeah, I think so. Like the chip theory, like, yeah, I dig that. I like it. I think I'd have actually never thought about like microchips, that sort of thing, like implantable chips or something. My kind of theories are more around cloning and like honestly, in the vein of Palpatine, everlasting life
Hmm.
through strand casts and clone surrogates, and then you essence transfer. So, like, if you digitize someone's essence, if you are
Hmm.
able to, or maybe that's what they're attempting to, they've never done it. They've never trapped somebody's soul into numbers, into binary code. And that's what they're trying to do is find the soul so that they can put it into a clone's body.
Do you
Uh,
know who the board is? Who I think the board is?
who's
I
that?
I think the board is the past CEOs. The
Yeah.
pet. I think that's exactly what they like.
Maybe they're all floating around, kind of like Willy Wonka style, television style.
In like an ether type deal, and yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
think
I
that
think,
is.
and honestly, macro data refinement into a being, that makes
Hmm.
sense. So,
See,
and I think, like the goats thing too, like I know goats and sheep are different, but cloning and sheep are like very hand in hand, Tao to
true.
sheep. And so like goats just kind of like say cloning to me.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And I kind of I knew that Helly was still Helena when
Yeah, I
she
knew
came
that.
back. I thought that was
But
pretty
I
kind of
love how they
obvious.
hid that. They didn't make it obvious. They left it up to the imagination.
I mean, I thought it was obvious, but like, yeah, I agree with you. Um, Irving's character, like his Audi, I haven't figured out. I was trying to figure out why he had all that information about the employees. I think either he's been hired by like that doctor to like infiltrate, type deal. But I don't know. I mean this show is so mysterious and like it's hard to predict. And but I honestly I like it. I mean
I love this show so much. I
would
think,
it go ahead.
well, I think there's like another level to this show that we're not even talking about yet. Like, even watching like new rock stars breakdowns or whatever. The fact that there's no modern technology in these shows, in this show, in these seasons. You look at okay, in the Lumen world, obviously everything's kind of like TVA retro, that kind of look and feel, but you go in the outside world and it's still kind of that look and feel.
Well,
It,
it's
the
supposed to be
cars in the
taken.
parking lot of Lumen are, 70s and 80s cars. So
Yeah, maybe I thought it was supposed to be taking place around like 1999 2000 era, like right around there because
they ever say that?
well, they don't say that, but when you look at the CEOs where they do the timeline of the
Right.
CEOs in the perpetuity wing, it shows the last CEO died in 1999, so that means the new
Okay.
CEO took over right around there. And you can see like the cell phones they have, or the flip phones, which are right around. It has to be around like the early 2000s. That's what I'm thinking it is. It's early 2000s because that's when the flip phones were there. The TVs were still like that TV he has in his basement is like it's a one of the box TVs. But yes, you are right. Inside the Lumen office, it's like retro, but like kind of high tech,
I
but
still,
not really.
I'm still not convinced, Nick. I think the outside world is somehow like I think it's I don't know. I don't know if it's like they're
I mean, they're in Colorado. I figured that they have to be in Colorado, and I mean the cars. I mean, the car that Mark drives. It at first I was like, why is he driving that car? And then like I was like, okay, maybe that is the type of car that was around that time. I really don't remember. But Miss Corbell's car is like a gremlin. And I'm like,
yeah.
why is she driving that? I mean, but she does play like a kind of like a hippie, new age person on her like as her outside like identity.
Yeah.
So maybe she's just like, hey, I kept my old car type deal. Like
I know. I think that character's my favorite character
I
in the
can't figure
show.
her out either. I'm like,
She
why
is
the hell are you
nut.
doing what you're doing?
Well,
But
we're running out of time, Nick. We got 10 minutes left.
all right. What anything else you're looking at? I
Show wise, I'm watching this Hulu show, Paradise, with St. Louis boy Sterling K. Brown. the dude from This Is Us. It's a really good show. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's Sterling K. Brown is a Secret Service agent that is protecting the president in this
Hmm.
fictional show. And the fictional president is Cyclops, drawing a blank on his name, James Marsden,
Yeah.
actor I love. So yeah, he plays the president, and it's a really good show. There's a bunch of twists,
What's
so
it called again?
I don't want to say too much. Paradise.
Paradise? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. There's like I said, lots of good twists. There's like a big reveal in the first episode. Like that's why I don't want to say too much. Because when the big reveal happens, it's kind of like, oh cool, this is that type of show. I didn't expect that.
So I sent you that I don't know if this is real. I hope it is. I really do. This is because if this is real, this is gonna be the shit. Um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin,
Ronan, yes.
which is supposed to be like an R-rated version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except for all the turtles are dead, except for Raphael, I think it is,
Right.
or maybe it's Michelangelo. It's one of the two.
I think it's Raphael.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of the two, but it's supposed to be like, just it, bleak and badass. If this is true, like if this is true, like it will be the freaking movie. I hope it's true.
I no,
Um,
it is true. I've heard it's been in development for a few years, and it's like actually happening. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's I think it's like an A24, like why not? Like Brightburn style movie.
mhm.
I don't think it's gonna make a lot of money and stuff. I'll
Oh
watch
no,
it.
dude. Are you kidding me? You are
But
not you are underestimating the nostalgia of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, are you
but
kidding me,
the
man?
dark take on it, like I know, like I've seen clips of the comic and stuff on YouTube clips about the comic
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know. Like my Ninja Turtles are fun. I don't need them all blood. I don't need everything Zack Snydered out. So like I'll freaking go for it. I'll watch it, but
Fair enough, fair enough,
I
fair
don't think
enough.
it's gonna be a big hit.
And then the only other thing that I thought we could touch on was just the more pictures of Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern.
The
I
only
mean,
role I need.
I I love how they are just going all out on this. I think it's good. I mean, I think it's going to add a whole nother layer to the movie because I mean, the movie so far, the trailers are just kind of like all these bits and pieces. Like
Yeah,
I have, it's just all kind of, you know, this crazy thing, this crazy thing. Hey, there's a giant kaiju right here that like is
yeah,
destroying the city. And then there was that one from like last year or last summer where it's like this giant eyeball in the sky, like
right. Yeah, the
doing
first
that beam,
suit photo.
which I don't even know. Do you ever figure out what the heck that eyeball thing was?
No, that'll probably be something Brainiac yeah. So my whole thing about the Superman movie is I think it's very intentional that like it's coming off the way that it's coming off early
Hmm.
on. I think it's supposed to uh so not to get too theoretical on us on you, but like we only have 5 minutes left. I
Cool.
think James Gunn is making a statement about the superhero genre with this movie. Originally it was titled Superman Legacy, and then he dropped it to be just Superman. And he's made a statement at the time when he did that with these script rewrites, it became very evident this is Superman. Like this movie is entitled Superman, not Superman Legacy and all that. So I always go back to that original title, and what that was trying to say is Superman is trying to leave a legacy to this world, this fictional world that we're going to be introduced to. And so, like with all the promotional things so far, it's a big CGI fest. It's like in your face, like everything you think, like everything you think about the genre right now, you saw in that trailer. You saw
Hmm.
goofy dogs, talking animal. Well,
Yeah,
crypto
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
necessarily talk, but flying dogs. You had, bird people. You have, laser bull cut people, eyeballs in the sky. That's all going to be explained as unnecessary. You don't
Yeah.
need all of this. to
Yeah.
be a hero and to be able to save the world. You need Superman. Anybody, in the impetus, the base heartfelt message of the movie is going to be that you can be Superman. Like everybody can be Superman, not just these, entities that are controlled by corporations. Which I think, you look at the lineup of superheroes, they're all kind of wearing similar uniforms.
Yeah.
They're all kind of being controlled by a Lex Luthor type corporation, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you're
my whole
right.
thing. I think they're intentionally giving us, this, quantum mania, like CGI fest. Like, yeah, that's what you think this is going to be. But then when it actually comes out, it's going to hit people like in the feels that they didn't know that they had. And I think it's going to be amazing.
I agree. All right, man. We got Captain America coming out in a week. We'll reconvene after that, man.
Yeah, I always see people doing out of the theater reactions. Maybe I'll do one for Brave New World.
Yeah. Well,
Throw that on the channel.
all right, man. I'll see you next time.
All right, Nick, I'll talk to you later.